Welcome to the Matt Chat channel. This is Matt here. Thank you for joining me today. I want to talk about a topic that I think is very confrontational. People are very opinionated about it. To be honest with you, I think they should be opinionated about it because I think there's a lot of things that are going on with it. So let's talk about solar farms, all right? And these things are popping up everywhere. Everybody has an opinion about them. But I want to bring the things to light because some people say, okay, if you have small ruminants, if you've got sheep or you've got goats, this is a great opportunity for you to come in and graze these animals underneath these solar panels. And so you can do two things at once, or you can go and lease these big fields and that have solar panels in them, and it's a great opportunity for you. You can get it at low cost and all. And that is somewhat true. There's an opportunity for, if you've got sheep or goats, to come in and graze underneath these panels, and it'd be safe for the panels and good for the sheep and goats. But I want to point this out to you because if you talk to these solar panel companies, one of the things that you'll find is when you ask them about this is when they put in a solar farm, that those panels in that field, that field will never be able to be used for farming again. And a lot of that is not being said to farmers. A lot of people don't understand that. The reason for that is when they come in and put those panels in, they take off that top layer of that topsoil, which of course is needed if you're going to put any crops in the ground. And then they're going to put wires down. They're going to put concrete down in these panels. The very thought of removing the panels one day and the concrete and the cables and then bring them back in topsoil, it would never pan out. It would never be profitable again. So that is farm ground that is complete loss. It'll never come back again. That's worth noting because we are losing farm ground and we are losing grazing ground at alarming rates. And so farmers, I want you to think about that aspect of it. All right, also the fact that they are offering large amounts of money to lease this ground for 50 years. That's the normal lease on this stuff, and that's really important. How can they offer that much money? And a lot of times people are not asking that question and getting answers. They're just taking the money and running, and we've got to be careful. I know it's hard times today, but we've got to be careful about not doing the research about why and how can they offer that much money. The how is very simple, and that's government subsidies. And those subsidies that they are getting from the government allows them to offer you big bucks through the solar companies. And you've got to be careful about that because, listen, farmers are, and I'm not saying anybody's evil for having some government subsidies and things like that with farmers have been using that for a long time. But here's the problem: we get dependent upon that government help, and that is right where the government wants the farmer to be. The government wants the farmer to be dependent upon them so they can dictate what the farmer does. And this is why I really want our food supply, our food system to be free food. I want us to make sure that we're not indebted to anybody that can control those sources. I want farmers to be able to do what is best for the food, what is best for the animal, what is best for the land and the soil. And so farmers, we've got to be responsible, and while we've got to be profitable and we've got to make it financially, we've got to do the research and make sure that we are doing what is best for the land, for the animals, for the food system. So think about those things. I can tell you, once you start taking help from the government, it's extremely hard to get off of it. The government knows that. And so think those things through. And I also want to say this: they're telling us, oh, well, this solar energy is just so important, and the only option we have is buying up farm ground and putting those things out there. But I want to tell you that is absolutely not true. Our cities and our towns are full of abandoned buildings, abandoned malls. Look, actual brick and mortar malls and stores that you go to shop are becoming extinct very quickly, alarming rates, because of things like Amazon, all the online shopping. I'm not saying that's all evil, but it is really hurting the places where you go into a brick and mortar place and shop. And so what's happening is we've got a lot of these empty buildings sitting around, nothing being used, and they're closed down, and then people are going and buying land and building new buildings while all these buildings are sitting empty. Only in America are we this wasteful. when it comes to our resources, and we've got to change these things. And so one, I think cities and towns, we got to start saying, hey, people, you need to buy up the buildings that are empty at a low cost. Hey, we ought to give them tax breaks if they're willing to do that, our cities and towns and our state. And then let them use those buildings that have already been built that are sitting empty. But look, when it comes to solar farms on these abandoned malls and these old buildings and warehouses, fill those things full of solar panels. And the big parking lots that are sitting empty, just rotting away, there's so much room to put solar panels there. And I got to tell you, in those places, even being up higher on those buildings, you're going to get a great amount of solar energy coming into those panels. And so that's better options than taking up the farm ground. So don't believe the lie that the farm ground is the best option for it. And don't fall into, oh, this, it's a great grazing plan for sheep. Well, a regular pasture without the solar panels is a best grazing option for sheep and for beef and for goats and for any animal. So I want you to think about these things, because listen, it's very easy to believe lies and things that are put out there. Do your homework. Really look into these things. And farmers, look, be careful about things the government is pushing, even USDA, farm loans and grants and different things. You need to really do your homework on these things, okay? So again, hey, thanks for listening. If you like this and if it's helpful and you're interested in more, hit the subscribe button. Make sure to share it with somebody. Thank you for joining the Matt Chat channel. See you next time.